If you're looking for the day and hour when the world is going to end, you won't find it here. My name is Ray Evans. I'm the author of The Gospel According to God, and several other inspired works, including The Endtimes, What You Need to Know Right Now. And this is Christianity Explained in 5 minutes. No one, and I mean no one, knows when the world will end, because the world is not ending. Not now, not ever. All these preachers predicting the end of the world are the false prophets, the wolves in sheep's clothing Jesus warned about rising in the last days to deceive many. It's Matthew 24, verse 11. See, it was never God's plan for us to live, die, and go to heaven. God's plan was always for man to live forever and enjoy his creation. You remember, there were 2 trees in the Garden of Eden. If Adam and Eve had eaten from the tree of life instead of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they would have lived forever in paradise, and we wouldn't be going through all this teaching, correcting, and punishing stuff. It was their disobedience that got them booted from the garden and brought this 6,000-year curse on us. That's Genesis 3, verses 22 through 24. I know preachers have all kinds of explanations for the fall of man. But God gave Adam and Eve a choice, and they made the wrong one. It's that simple. God used Satan to test Adam and Eve to see if they would obey. They didn't obey and were booted out of the garden. It's the first and most important lesson of all. Those who obey will live forever, and those who won't obey might want to invest in an asbestos suit. God brought a flood on the earth to start over with Noah, who was righteous in his generation. Now he's going to send fire on the earth to start over with those who are righteous in this generation. Those who endure will inherit the earth. What? You think Jesus was just kidding when he said the meek shall inherit the earth? Matthew 5, verse 5. I know preachers love to promote fanciful visions of life after death, where we will be reunited with friends and loved ones, and live in mansions on streets of gold. That's not supported by Scripture, unless you have a huge Scripture wrench. And that's a device for twisting Scripture. See, in John's view, the New Jerusalem comes down from heaven, and God dwells with his people on earth. It's Revelation 21, verse 2. You're intelligent. Doesn't it make infinitely more sense that God, who is Spirit, comes to earth to dwell in the hearts and minds of his people than billions of souls floating around in space? I mean, come on. How many bathrooms would it take to support the billions of people in heaven running around in fields of daisies? Oh, maybe you think we won't need to eat, drink, and be merry in heaven. Okay, what are we going to do? You think you're going to have a new life just like the one on earth, only better, you might want to rethink it. I know it sounds good and it fills the pews and collection plate, but there is no scriptural support for that view of heaven, and too many issues for it to be true. What about those who died thousands of years ago, before cars, airplanes, and television? How will they react to all the new technology? And will we even have cars, airplanes, and television? How about restaurants, movie theaters, golf courses? We have jobs? Well, who gets to be the CEO? Who are the janitors? Well, we won't need any of those things if, like some say, we'll be kneeling before God and praising him for eternity, or others who say we'll be sitting on a cloud with a harp. Doesn't sound much like heaven to me. If this is our final reward, it's no wonder so many people question its existence. If heaven is a fantasy, then God must be a fantasy too, right? Consider this for a moment. God removed the unrighteous with the flood and began again with Noah and his family. Is there any reason why God can't remove the wicked, evil, and unrepentant again? Only this time, as Scripture indicates, with fire. See, the world is not coming to an end. Jesus is not coming on a white horse to take all the good people to heaven. God is simply going to return the earth as an inheritance to his kids. As it is written, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Matthew 5, verse 5. And don't be put out by the word meek. It's praus in Greek. It means humble. Show me someone who's not humble, and I'll show you someone who's not a child of God. God hates pride and arrogance. These qualities will not be found in a child of God, nor anyone who will remain on earth to rule and reign with Christ in the coming kingdom. Yes, there's a new world coming, God's world, where every knee will bow and tongue proclaim that Jesus is Lord. Given the state of affairs in the world today, a new earth surviving a nuclear and biological war, famine, pestilence, and natural disasters is not only possible, it's highly probable. See, never has man had the potential to destroy the world, nor has the end of the age lined up with Scripture as well as it does right now. Not unreasonable to think a war, nuclear and or biological, will occur at some point in the future. And whether by war, famine, pestilence, or natural disasters, the wicked, evil, and unrepentant will be removed, just as it was in the days of Noah. And, as Scripture says, only those who endure until the end will be saved. Only those who are prepared physically and spiritually will remain on earth to rule and reign with Christ. See, it's not unreasonable to believe the world could be devastated by a nuclear war, famine, pestilence, and natural disasters, with only a few people left to rebuild the planet. Neither is it difficult to imagine that those people would all be of one mind, the mind of Christ. The Bible calls them the elect, Spirit-filled people who take God and His Word seriously and prepare. Nor is it difficult to believe they could live in peace for 1,000 years. Of course, if you prefer to believe in dead bodies floating up to heaven to party with friends and loved ones, you're free to believe anything you want. Just don't be surprised when you find yourself like those who were scratching and clawing at the door of Noah's Ark. They didn't believe it would happen either. You see, the question is not what if it doesn't happen. The question is, what if it does? Well, here's wisdom. Better to be prepared for that which does not come than unprepared for that which does. Of course, till you're reborn spiritually, nothing else matters. It's not the end of the world, but it is the end of Volume 4 of Christianity Explained in 5 minutes. Volume 5 starts tomorrow. You ever wonder why all my posts end the same way? Well, find out tomorrow in Christianity Explained in 5 minutes. Until then, this is Ray Evans. Thank you for listening. May God richly bless your journey through life.